Finally, let us look at a very useful one, which is the case where we take a linear function of a random variable. So x is a given random variable and y is the linear function of the given random variable. So ax plus b, where a and b are scalars. A and b are scalars and a not equal to 0. So x is a random variable with a given distribution and we consider a linear function ax plus b. So in this case I am going to consider a is equal to 2 for example, and b equal to 5. So your random variable y is equal to 2x plus 5. So let us first argue just by picture. Okay, so and then we will take mathematically and we will argue. So x is a random variable that has a given distribution. Let us say it is this weird shape. Okay, so I have this distribution of the random variable. So the shape looks like this, and the total area equal to 1. Otherwise you cannot say it is a distribution of the given random variable. So this is fx of x, or I can write fx of x. So this is the given random variables distribution fx of x, and x ranges from -1 to 2. So the total width is 2 minus -1, so 3 units. This is the width of original probability density function fx of x. Let us do things one step at a time. Now let's find the distribution of 2x. See, I have the random variable y is equal to 2x plus 3. Let me consider or concentrate only 2x. Let us find out the distribution function of 2x. Distribution function of 2x. First we will find out 2x and then we will see how we can find out 2x plus 3. So now what do you think you know about 2x? Well, if x ranges from -1 to 2, then the random variable 2x is going to range from -2 to -4. So 2x ranges from -2 to 4. So what is the width here? Width equal to upper limit, upper value minus lower value. So therefore 6 units. That is the total width. That means what? You are stretching the distribution function. Okay, now the range is going to be -2 to +4. Now dealing with the random variable 2x as opposed to the random variable x, okay, in some sense it is just changing the units in which we measure that the random variable. So it is simply you are stretching the distribution function. It is just changing the scale on which we draw and plot things. So if it is just a scale change, then intuition should tell you that the random variable 2x should have a PDF of the same shape. The shape will not change, but you are stretching the probability density function. Okay, the same shape will be maintained, except that it is scaled out by a factor of 2, because our random variable 2x now has a range that is twice as large. Originally the width was 3 units, now the width is 6 units. So the new random variable 2x has the width as twice as larger than the original random variable. Okay, so that I will show you here how it looks. So insert picture, then yeah. Okay, now you look at here. So the random variable, this is the random variable ranges from -2 to minus 2 to 4. So the width is upper value minus lower value, therefore 6 units. Okay, and here this is 3 units. See, the shape does not change here. Okay, the same shape will be there, but you are stretching the probability density function. Shape will be like this, and the same function but only stretched up. This is f of ax, that is 2x. So it is only stretched up. Now we take the same PDF and scale it up by stretching the x-axis by a factor of 2. So what does scaling correspond to in terms of a formula? So the distribution of 2x as a function, let's say a generic argument z is going to be the distribution of x but scaled by a factor of 2. So it is scaled by the factor of 2. So now this we need to find out what is this one. Okay, so f2x of what will come here. So taking a function and replacing its argument by the argument over 2. So what it does is it stretches it by a factor of 2. Therefore your f2x of some argument z. So this is going to be fx of z by 2. You have probably been tortured ever since middle school to figure out when you stretch a function whether you need to put z by 2 or 2z, which one we need to put. Okay, and the one that actually does the stretching is to put z by 2 rather than 2z in the argument. So that's what the stretching does. Okay, so now could that be the full answer? Will it be a full answer? Probably no, because there is a catch. If you stretch this function by a factor of 2, what will happen? What happens to the area under the function? It is going to get doubled up, because originally the width was 3, now the width is 6 units. So if you increase the width, then what happens? Area will be doubled up. Area will be doubled up. But we know that the total area gives the probability of that particular density function, which is equal to 1. So the probability should not exceed 1, right? Therefore, if you double the area, then what happens? The probability will be doubled, right? So that cannot be acceptable. So it is going to get doubled, but the total probability must add up to 1. So we need to do something else to make sure that the area under the curve stays to 1. So we need to take that function, this function, and scale it by half. Scale down by this factor of 2. Therefore 1 by 2 times fx of z by 2. So this scaling comes in order to make the area should be equal to 1, and this guy comes stretching. It is simply the continuation of your signals and system. You take a function and replace the argument by 2, then it stretches the function. That's it. So when you are dealing with a multiple of random variable, what happens to the PDF is you stretch it up according to that multiple. So here that multiple is 2 here. It's a multiplication factor. So according to that, you are stretching the PDF. Okay, therefore you need to scale it down by same number so that you preserve the total area under the curve should be 1. So now we find the distribution of 2x. So the distribution of 2x is given here. This is the distribution of f2x of x. Well, what is adding 5 to the random variable? Suppose if you add the 5 to this random variable, what will happen? So 2x plus 5. Whenever you add a constant, then what will happen? The density function will be shifted to the right or to the left based on the scalar value 5. Okay, so you are going to essentially the same value with the same probability, except that those values all get shifted by 5 units. Okay, the same shape same probability density function, everything is same, but the only thing is it is shifted to some other place. Probably if I put 5 here, then it is shifted 5 units either to the left or to the left. If I put -5, I am shifting to the left, and if I put +5, then I am shifting to the right. So all that you need to do is to take the same PDF, f2x, same PDF, and shift it by 5 units. Now originally the range was -2 to +4, -2 to +4. Now add +5 in this one, in this range. If you add, what will happen? -2 + 5, 4 + 5. Therefore my new range is, this is 3 and this is 9. Again, what is the width of this one? Width equal to 9 minus 3, again 6 units. Therefore the width will not change. Okay, the width would not change, but the only thing is the entire PDF is shifted to the right. And that's the final answer, and this is a distribution of 2x plus x that I will show you now. Insert, draw, insert, pictures, recent, yes. Okay, so this is your 2, draw, I choose the pen. Okay, this is 2x plus 5, f of 2x plus 5. This is a density function of this one. So the new thing is completely shifted here, and originally it was -2 to +4. If you look at here, it is -2 to +4. The whole thing is shifted by 5 units. Shifted by 5 units to the right. Right. So here it is shifted to the right. So -2 becomes 3 and 4 becomes 9. That's all. Now shifting to the right by b, where ax plus b, and this b indicates shifting to the right. So plus this b indicates shifting to the right or left, and this a indicates stretching or compressing. So shifting to the shifting to the right by a certain amount, mathematically it corresponds to putting -b in the argument of the function. Therefore whenever you want to shift the function to the right, then you have to put a -b in the argument. Therefore the density function is given by fx of, initially it was z, that z is replaced by -5 whole divided by 2, and here 1 by 2. That's it. So this is the density function of my new random variable fy of y. So I am taking the formula that I had here, which is the scaling by a factor of 2. So 1 by 2 fx of z by 2. I am taking this, I am taking this whole formula, okay, which is scaling by a factor of a. The scaling down to keep the total area equal to 1. Otherwise the total area will not be 1. That is why the scaling factor comes. So 1 by 2 fx of z by 2. So this is the scaling factor. What is the use of scaling factor? To keep the total area to 1. To keep the total area equal to 1. And then I need to introduce this extra factor. What is the extra factor? -b. So if you introduce a -b, then 1 by 2 fx of z minus b by 2. That's it. So this is the density function of your new random variable y, capital Y. So the scaling down to keep the total area equal to 1, and then I need to introduce this extra term -b to do the shifting to the right. So this is a plausible argument. The proof by picture that this should be the right answer. Okay, so this one generally accept this by taking picture and stretching it or compressing it and shifting to the right or to the left. Okay, so this is one way of approaching the problem. And one can approach the same problem by another way, that is through your mathematical way. So that mathematical way involves a two-step cookbook procedure. This that I already discussed. Two-step cookbook procedure. What is a two-step cookbook procedure? First, you find the CDF of the given random variable, and the variable which you want, random variable which you want to find out. Then differentiate the CDF in order to get the probability density function of the new random variable y, whatever it is. So by just in order to keep our skills tuned and refined, let us do this cookbook procedure in a more formal way. Okay, so using our two-step cookbook procedure. So, and I am going to do it under the assumption that A is positive. So I am going to consider two cases. Case 1, let me consider A is positive. In the case 2, let me consider A is negative. Let us consider A is positive, as in the example that we just did till now. So what is a two-step procedure? We want to find the cumulative of y, and after that we are going to differentiate it. So by definition, what is the cumulative distribution function? It is given by capital F, capital Y of y. By definition, it is P of y less than or equal to certain number, small y. Okay. So the cumulative distribution function is the probability that the random variable capital Y takes values less than or equal to a certain number, small y. Now we need to show this event. Okay, I need to take this event and translate it and express it in terms of the original random variable. What is the original random variable? X is the original random variable. Okay, so you rewrite y in terms of original random variable, that's all. Rewrite this y in terms of the original random variable. When I say this means I mean this random variable. Okay, so rewrite this random variable. So how do you rewrite? P of, we know that y is equal to ax plus b. Write down here ax plus b less than or equal to small y. So this by by definition. So we are looking at this event. We are looking at this event. Okay, and we want to express that event in a clean form where x shows up in a straight away. So if I rewrite this, then I'm going to massage this event. Okay, massage this event and write it in this form, in the following form. So this is P of ax less than or equal to y minus b, and then P of x is less than or equal to y minus b by a if a equal to positive. Okay, now let me call this is equation number 1. Now what is this equation number 1 says? This is the cumulative distribution of x evaluated at the particular point. So I'm sorry, not this one. Let's say this is equation number 1. One minute, let me read it properly. Let's say this is equation number 1. So what is equation number 1? This is a cumulative distribution function of x evaluated at the point. Which point? At this point. See, we know that fx of x equal to the probability that the random variable x takes the value less than a certain number, that is P of x takes certain number. So instead of x I have y minus b by a. Therefore this I can write fx of y minus b by a. That's it. So on the left hand side I have fy of capital Y. Now we got a formula for cumulative y. This is the CDF of y. And this is the CDF of the original random variable x. So we have two PDF now, two CDFs. So CDF of y and CDF of x. Now what is the next step? So the next step is, according to our cookbook procedure, take the derivative of both sides. Okay, so the density of y is going to be the derivative of this expression. Let me call this equation number 2. This expression with respect to y. Take derivative of both sides. With respect to y. Now here we need to use the chain rule, okay, because the function also has y. Okay, so it is going to be the derivative of f function with respect to its argument small y, and then we need to take the derivative of the argument with respect to y. So what is the derivative of the cumulative? The derivative of the cumulative is the density itself. So once you take the derivative of the cumulative, then you'll get a density function, and we evaluate it at the point of interest. Wherever we want, we can evaluate it. And then the chain rule tells us that we need to take the derivative of the argument also, because the argument has y minus b by a. Okay, the argument is y minus b by a. First you take the derivative of the CDF and then take the derivative of y minus b by a with respect to y, and the derivative of this y minus b with respect to y is 1 by a. So if you take derivative in the left hand side, you will get the density function of y. In the right hand side, it is fx of x, right? No, sorry, not fx of x. The argument is f of y minus b by a, and take the derivative of this argument, that is 1 by a. So therefore this is 1 by a fx of y minus b by a. This is fy of y. Now you can look at that, whatever we got, this agrees with what we derived previously with the picture itself. Okay, and this gives the formula which is consistent with what I had written in the previous part. Okay, for the case where a is a positive number, so we consider a is a positive number. Now what if a was a negative number? Suppose this is valid for a is positive. Now one can ask, what if a was a negative number? In that case, how this density function will change? Could this formula be true? Okay, that we'll see in the next lecture. I can continue in this lecture itself, but my neighbor switched on the air conditioner, so outdoor unit is giving much noise. So let me stop at this point and continue from this point in the next lecture. Thank you very much.